It seems as if there are countless ways to sell on the web nowadays, but one of the best ways to sell on social media is to sell with a story. You don't want to simply promote a product and throw it out there and say, here's my product, go buy it. Instead, your product needs to be wrapped around in a story so that more people are enticed to buy it and spread the word about your products. So why are stories so good? And the pure fact is that we absolutely love them. People have been telling stories to each other through oral tradition like almost ever since human beings were on the planet. So oral tradition goes a really long way, and that's evolved into bedtime stories, adventure stories, and basically we really enjoy hearing stories. And the good ones are going to spread like wildfire. So if you have a good story behind your product, that is true, then you are bound to spread on social media if enough people get to hear that story. And you don't just spread on social media, you also spread through word of mouth, because good stories are made to spread not just on social media, but also through word of mouth and other means as well. So one of the greatest authors in the marketing spectrum is Seth Godin. And one of his fascinating books is What to Do When It's Your Turn. So when he promoted this book, he turned it into a story about it being your turn and it's our time to accomplish what we want to accomplish. And instead of waiting, just take action. The book became an instant bestseller. Of course, since Seth Godin wrote the book and he has his audience, that does help. But the story behind it made the book very powerful. I mean, he's not just simply saying, buy my book. He has a story behind the book that makes it meaningful and significant and very empowering. So the link I include down below, www.yourturn.link, leads you to Seth Godin's sales page where he tells the story behind the book. And then this story is what led people to take action, buy the book, and now it's been praised as a really great book for entrepreneurs and anyone in general to read. So you may be wondering at this point, how exactly do you translate from the story to the pitch? Because you could tell a great story, but you eventually have to make this transition if you want people to buy your product. So what you do is you talk about the story, you would put the pitch at the end, and you would slowly mix the two together in the middle. So you would slowly talk about the story, then briefly mention your product, or something that it does, or one of its capabilities, and then continue doing that until you make your way down to the end where you do a pitch, you have your buy now button, and then that will lead to more revenue. And you will be promoting all of this on your social networks, because when you do so, people will start interacting, they will tell their friends about it. I mean, social media has made having a conversation with a friend or anyone in the world really easy. So if you put your content, if you put this story on social media, and it's a really good story, people are going to be talking about it, and then it's just going to spread on social media, and your product will be seen by thousands of people. So now you have the story, you've created all the transitions, and you have the pitch at the end. What next? What happens after the story? Well, the answer is that people start to get involved on social media and they share it with their friends. As people share it with their friends, word of mouth starts to have a big impact on how far the story spreads. Social media is a tool that you use to get enough exposure, enough attention, enough good social proof that people just want to talk about it. And they continue talking to their friends and every single person they know all across the street. And then what happens? You get those sales, because some people are going to really talk up the product and the story that you offer, and people are going to be really enticed by their friends to buy your products. So basically, after the story, you promote it and it spreads. One example of a really good social media campaign is the Your Turn challenge that Seth Godin hosted. And this is a great way to not only promote your product, but also get people involved, make people contribute to the cause. So what happened is the challenge was to write one blog post every day for 7 days. And the blog post was based on one question that was asked. And what happened? Over 4,500 posts were published on this particular group Tumblr blog in just 7 days. So you can see the link there. And if you click on that link, you will see all of the submissions people have had. And you'll see that by reading through the comments, how much of an impact this particular challenge had on some people's lives. And one key thing is that he didn't ask for any type of testimonial in this challenge. He just asked, he basically just said, here's the question, write the post, it's your turn. He was giving the torch to all the people who wrote these blog posts. And this got the community involved. It spread the word about his book, and the Tumblr blog became very popular. So look into ways to get your community involved in your story and make them a part of it. If you make someone a part of your story, that person will be very likely to buy your product, to share it with their friends, and then the whole wildfire spreading action occurs where people are constantly sharing your product word of mouth, and then your sales only grow. So your message is another very powerful concept. You want to have 3 things in your message. You want it to be clear, you want it to be powerful, and you want it to be extraordinary. Your message is very important because your message can either sway someone into buying your product or dissuade someone from buying your product. So if you have a strong, powerful message that is very meaningful, then people will be more likely to buy your products. And how do you make this message spread? How do you make it grow? You use social media to spread the message. People see it, share it with their followers, they share it with their followers, and the process repeats. That is all for this lecture. I hope it has served you, and what I want you to do is to dream big, achieve greatness, and unlock your potential today.